I am Marwan Cameron, and this is The Conduit. All right, everyone, you know what time it is. It is Friday. We are out here at the Bainbridge uh, Museum of Arts out here in Bainbridge Island. BIMA as it is. And as you know, what we do on Fridays during Black History Month, it is Black Lives 360 Black History 2022 with Akuyea Vargas. And today we have a very special guest. So I want to introduce everyone to Eric Gonzalez, Executive Director of the Urbanist Collective.
Hey, thank you.
All right. So now that you have received your applause there, let's go ahead and make introductions. First, I'll ask you, Akuyea, how are you doing today?
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Black Lives 365. Today is one of those rush days. But other than that, it's been a blessing. Hit the ground running early this morning up to the school district because our students are getting off for winter break, and we wanted to kind of set the tone because they've got some things coming up for Black History Month that we want to make sure that they are included in. Yes.
Well, introduce your guest with us today.
Well, who we have with us today is Mr. Eric Gonzalez.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for having me. What's really cool is that this has been a extremely productive week for me already. So great way to start our weekend and ending the Friday with this podcast. So it's pretty cool.
It's all
Yeah,
right.
thank you for the opportunity.
So tell me a little bit about what you
Yeah.
do, Eric,
All
and
right.
how you got here in Kitsap County.
Kitsap County. Whoa. Yep. That's a common question. Like, what brings you to Kitsap, right? So, going back a little bit, I'm the executive director of Urbanist Collective. We're a nonprofit organization founded in Central California. We've been working in California for about 10 years, including our grassroots years, which took about 5, 6 years to become an actual nonprofit. But moving forward a bit, my wife was recruited by a job in Seattle, and we had no connection to Seattle really. We just scoped it out. We took a trip up here and we loved it. So she accepted the position. And, part of the big decision maker was, what about Urbanist Collective? And our board members didn't necessarily want to see me leave, so they approved an expansion, and so we became a multi-state organization, and we applied for nonprofit status in state of Washington as well. Kitsap being home, I live in North Kitsap. It made sense to focus a lot of our efforts within Kitsap County. However, we do branch out to other areas now and then. We have a small presence in Tacoma, right downtown Tacoma. A couple projects that we're carrying out in Seattle, and we have been fortunate enough to take a couple of mural community projects up to City of Everett and Anacortes. Anacortes.
Ana
That's how
Cortez.
you say it, is Anacortes.
That's all right.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what brings us here. I thought it would be an exciting new venture to expand. It's almost as if you're starting the organization all over again. You have to create some noise, build awareness around the work that you're doing, especially with it being so unique. You have to live by example and show people what this work looks like in person, getting acquainted with funders, with the community needs,
Yes.
which is very different than what we're used to in Central California. So the issues here are slightly different, but we've adapted very well. But yeah, it's been fun for sure. We've got nothing but love. I moved here in 2019, June to be exact, and up until the beginning of 2020, we were on fire. I'm gonna say,
Yes,
like
speak
not
about that.
not popping my collar too much, but I was like, wow, like this is really cool. People were really showing love, very supportive.
Yes.
People want to collaborate with us. People want to support us. We had something very special to offer, but of course, like everyone else, once 2020
Yes.
hit us, bow from the side. Um, Come March,
Yes.
a lot of those things
Kind of.
shut down completely. So it was really up to us to find ways to stay alive and find means to remain
Yes.
active in the community. So that was a challenge, not just for us, for everybody, right? So
So talk a little bit about, some of the work, because I know that you were very instrumental in the protests with, the art activism, with the Juneteenth celebrations that we had in Bremerton,
yeah.
and the street art with the students
Mhm.
during that time of protest. So
All
talk a
right,
little bit about that.
for sure. So I think it'll be cool to go answer that a little bit backwards, backtracking.
Yes.
You said street art.
Yes.
So my roots are in street art. I grew up with a strong interest in graffiti art, which is in some cases different than street art. There's many subcultures within the graffiti and street art,
That's good.
public
Because I
murals.
need to know about that.
Yeah, yeah. So in a nutshell, street art is public murals. And I'm going to say it's a little bit more on the contemporary side. So if you see some of the pieces in our gallery here by uh,
Corey.
the
Yes.
homie, our friend Corey Bennett,
Yes.
if you saw some of his wonderful work out in the community,
Yes.
out on the wall, that's street art.
Yes.
But graffiti art has a little more of a stronger emphasis on lettering, some cases storytelling, and there's always a balance, between images, portraits, cartoons, and the lettering. The lettering always has to be present. So my roots are, really deriving from graffiti art, and over the years, I've been working with nonprofit for, dang, I almost said 20 years, but I think that's about right.
That's right.
So, I
Say
mean,
that.
I think I was
Say
19,
them
20,
years go.
20 years old, something like that, when I first got involved as a volunteer. Moving forward, I was invited to apply, and so I've carried out these case management roles, youth program management roles, and all throughout that time, I found ways to be creative with our outreach efforts
Yes.
and our program implementation efforts. So I found ways to fuse or incorporate my own art. So that really, moving forward, it made a lot of sense to establish Urbanist Collective, which is an
Yes.
arts organization.
Yes.
I no longer had to find ways to incorporate the arts into the community work I was doing, where it happened very, very organically. So becoming an arts organization that was also serving community made a lot of sense.
Mm.
It was pretty magical, actually. I could go into that in a bit, but so moving ahead a few more years, when Urbanist was offering youth programs on school campuses and working with young people, we were really huge. We still are very huge on amplifying youth voices,
Yes.
not only to keep things cool and keep things interesting for them, but we really want to keep things youth driven and allowing them to kind of guide the projects.
Yes.
Um, and so from that, came all of the social justice work.
Yes.
So we were not designed to be a social justice organization. We were just an arts group,
Yes.
showcasing artwork, having fun. But when we started working with teens and high school students, middle school students, there were issues that they were passionate about, and they kind of guided the programs and the artwork
Yeah.
to become active. So active social justice advocates in many subject matters. So from there, we developed what we call artivism programs.
Artivism.
Yeah, so we took our activism efforts,
Yes.
incorporated the arts,
Yes.
and we have artivism. But that all came from our youth. Like I said, that wasn't something that we planned.
That's right. Well, I want to talk about it because, during the protest for George Floyd, we were able to, uh, the young people came together and they wanted to do Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And tell us a little bit about that experience with those young people to be able
Yeah.
to just immerse them into
Yeah. I mean, it's it's a tragic part of our uh, I'm gonna say, like, I guess it's a tragic window in our lives, but at the same time it was a moment that really uplifted people in a way.
Yes.
We took a look at all of the injustice and all of those hardships,
Yes.
and we said we're tired of this, right? So
Yes.
it got people pumped and amplified, and what I was really excited to see was that the young people, the students, were like getting involved,
Yes.
and not just students of color, but you know every culture you could think of. Young people are more likely to become allies than some adults, and that's probably because of the timelines that we live in.
Yes.
But I thought that was super interesting, and it really allowed us to bring attention to the injustices that we were all being exposed to. For me, my entire life.
Yes.
For
As
many of
well
us,
as my
many of
entire
us,
life.
right?
Yes.
Many of us, we've been going through all that, and what better way to communicate than with using art, right? So,
Yes.
like, we have content that is produced, via written words, video, but we also have those very powerful stills,
Yes.
the imagery that inspires people
Yes.
to act, to stand up, to do something.
Yes.
That's what really, really empowered our communities, I feel. It's my opinion. Those images are strong, they connect with your energy, your emotions, and they have the ability to change the world. Seriously.
I know it because we also did a piece with our Living Life Leadership students and our Black Lives 365 team. It was called One Love here on Bainbridge, and we met up with you. Talk a
Yeah.
little bit about how the community responded to all of that.
Yeah, that was cool. Shout out Kitsap Strong.
Yes.
And shout out Corey's.
Yes.
Wait,
It's absurd.
what is it? Oh man, you might have to edit that one.
Yes.
Wait, is it Corey's Fabrication, Custom Fabrication? It's not Corey's. I'm in Corey's gallery. That's what I'm saying. I'll find out. I'm gonna do a side edit of that. But the business owner of
Yeah.
the wall, um, shout out to them because they put together that beautiful fanning gate and offered it to our project, right? So that was an amazing opportunity to share a message with the community of Kitsap County and in Bainbridge. Um, in simple terms, we wanted to promote unity, unification, diversity, and we were given the opportunity to paint this mural. So we decided to write out one love, the message of one love. And one love is commonly used in the hip hop culture too, you know,
Yes.
one love to this, one love to you, and all. Because somebody asked me that recently, like, what does that mean,
Yeah,
one love?
what
I'm
is
like,
that
you
one
haven't
love?
heard of
Talk about
not
that one.
only have you not heard of the infamous Marley song, but so I took that was a surprise. But so that was a wonderful project, and we had some virtual meetings where we invited some students to participate in the planning and
Yes,
help
yes.
us guide the design.
Oh, excuse us.
Hello.
We got a guest. Oh, come on
Hey,
in
how
here,
are
Miss
you?
Martha. Hello. Hello.
Welcome,
How are
welcome.
you? How are you? Great. All right.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
So I was
this
just
is Miss Marva Jones, and this is Mr. Eric Gonzalez.
hello,
Eric.
pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Yeah, and Eric has worked with us for. Well, I first met Eric when he first got here. We were doing some art pieces at the Human Rights Council in the youth human rights.
Oh, that's right.
Where
That's
I
the first
met.
time.
That's
Yeah,
the first time
yeah.
I began to, build
At
this
Olympic College.
at Olympic
Yeah.
College
Okay.
that day when we were mobilizing the young people to
Mhm.
do some art, a little bit of
Yeah.
artwork there.
So yeah, I could talk about that. I almost forgot about that. That was
No, don't forget about that.
that was
Eric.
that's a great example of what we do. So we create a lot of engaging art opportunities that allow
Mhm.
people to have conversations around a subject matter. That little project was super cool. We built a three tri-wall, what I call a tri-wall. So it's a freestanding pillar with three walls, and then you can open it and close it, and our guests were able to share messages about um, maybe something that they're dealing with or something that they're passionate about, but really focusing in on the conference's theme.
Yes.
And what do these human rights
Yes.
look like to you or whatnot. And then it was really cool because I don't know if you recall, we
Yes,
cut
you
out these little
did.
windows
Yes.
so you could creep inside and paint. If you had something a little more aggressive and something that was hurtful, which we did, you paint that on the inside, and the outside was brighter. But you could look inside this little window
Mm.
and see
all the hurt.
the messages inside that were a little more
That was
aggressive, maybe.
amazing.
But yeah, we had a lot
I
of
always say,
participation.
you could see the hurt and you could see the trauma.
Mhm.
You could see
You could.
those things on the inside. It was amazing. It was
Yeah.
very transformative.
Yeah, that was cool. Um, so yeah, that's what we do. We believe that the art has a superpower to communicate,
Superpower.
and in addition to communicating with the public, is there's another really special thing about including them in that process. So not only do we create
That's right.
the content visually that encourages people to act, but then we're also creating opportunities for them to engage and to participate in that production. And that's where the magic happens. People are uplifted, they feel empowered, um, and it's super fun.
Good, good. Yeah, I do say I like to see the arts come back in our communities, a lot more emphasis on the art. Not only for adults, but also for children and youth, that people will begin to use their creativity to express themselves through
Yes.
more art.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And growing up, I heard that many years, like, you could use this to express yourself. And for years as a young artist, I never really expressed myself with the art. I was just having fun
Yes.
drawing cartoons and
Yes.
comics and stuff.
Mhm.
But as I got older, I realized that I really was expressing myself. I was
Yes.
having fun,
Yes.
and that was my therapy.
Yes.
That's what helped me get through
Yes.
tough times. And so
And I'm glad that you're talking about it because, for for Black Lives 365 for 2022, we're doing art therapy, we're
Yeah.
doing creative arts, we're doing all these things for the entire year. That's going to be our focus, to bring our young
Ooh.
people to a place of health and wellness through
Beautiful.
the arts. And so, with our whole youth empowerment, it's going to be all around
That's beautiful.
healing arts, the healing arts,
Yeah.
and the power of arts to heal us and begin to move us
Yeah.
into a place of health and well-being.
I
So,
love that. I love
that's going
that.
to be our for 2022. The healing arts is on and popping, and the first one they're going to have is at their soiree next Friday.
Oh,
And they're
okay.
going to be with music and
Ah,
movement. And so the medicine is going to be in the music
nice.
and in
Yes.
the movement.
Yes.
And so we invite all the young people
Oh,
to
that's
come
gonna
out.
be
It's
cool.
going to be in Bremerton at Rice and Ferguson on Friday. It's a Cinderella soiree. So they're going to kick off at 8, and then they got to, by midnight, they got to be
They don't want
running
to turn
up
into
out of
pumpkins.
Yes, they're going to turn into the pumpkin.
That sounds really cool for
Yeah,
sure.
that's going to be great. That's going to be great.
Yeah, and you know, one thing that we've definitely seen throughout these past couple of years are people putting together these testimonials and incredible work, sharing how art helped them get through
Yes.
this hard time. You know,
Yes.
and previously it was very rare to get people to speak about that. Like how has art helped you, or
Yes.
have you even tried art to help you heal
Yes.
for whichever um, hardship. And you know, it is really nice to see that it became a common thing. um yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
We love
and
that.
we did. We kicked off with the young women too. We had our holiday healing retreat, and it was
Oh.
all around the arts.
Mhm.
They made jewelry, they were writing poetry, they were listening to music, they were creating, all of those things. They were, allowing
Nice.
themselves to just move into that place of healing with those arts, and it was amazing.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So I noticed on your shirt says you paint
Yeah.
spray can art.
Uh-oh.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, for sure. So You Paint is a art supply store,
Okay.
and it's a fundraising effort of Urbanist Collective.
Okay.
We registered a social purpose corporation with Washington State, and it's basically a business model that benefits the organization 100%.
Okay.
There's been a lot of buzz talk in the nonprofit world about taking on alternative fundraising strategies, and social enterprises are one way to do that. And we tried it out, and it was very successful. So it made a lot of sense to invest in art supplies since we were offering art projects.
Okay.
It sparked from one opportunity where a teacher started a urban art class in Central
Okay.
California. She was not given the support that she needed from her campus, and they said, "This is too edgy. You're promoting vandalism and graffiti," and they shut her down. It was really sad.
Wow.
So she called us up and said, "Eric, I have about $5,000 worth of spray paint and art materials for murals, street art projects. Are you interested in taking these?" And we said, "Of course, right?"
Yeah.
I showed up, and it was double that amount.
No.
It was like $10,000 worth of
Oh my
paints.
goodness.
So we were like, whoa, we
Amazing.
couldn't even get through all of that paint ourselves. So at some of our events, we were also selling them for, like, we'll create these little bundles, and then you
Yes.
could drop a donation,
Yes.
and that's where the idea came from.
Okay.
So next thing you know, people were asking us left and right, "Do you have more art materials?" Because they're very, very specialized mural materials.
Yes,
They're
they
they're
have.
professional. They're highly advanced. They're imported. These spray cans come from Germany, Spain,
All
Japan,
over the world.
Italy,
Globally.
And yeah, you can't find them. They're not made and manufactured in the U.S., but very high tech art materials. So U Paint is a spray can art supplier. Yeah, so that's what that is. But it's an interesting little title, right? And we thought it'd be fun. It was
Yes, it's very
fun to
Yeah.
go with the question in
Right.
question form with the question mark on there. That's the registered
Yes.
brand.
So let me ask you this. So how important is doing the collective, unified, collaborative work with the projects that we
Yeah.
see?
Extremely important for sure. So, first of all, starting out with our organization and being a collective.
Yes.
So, not only did we have our core group, our decision makers, we established the organization with about 7 core members, but then there were all of the collective members that started getting involved that couldn't necessarily volunteer as much time. They couldn't participate in every meeting or in every event,
Right.
but they were still around. They were supportive, and they wanted to participate when they could. And that's what influenced the collective part. That second half, um, which by the way, we were named urbanists at the
Yes.
beginning only,
Oh,
and I'll share about that in a bit.
Yeah.
But moving on from that, we just found it extremely instrumental to collaborate with other groups that might be doing something similar to us, or someone who is doing something completely different, and we wanted to bring art to their
Yes.
work. So, for example, we have like very common in Central California, we have gang intervention programs.
Yes.
There are pregnancy prevention programs. We have mental health projects around, specifically designed to outreach to promote suicide prevention.
Yes. Yes.
So we teamed up with those type of organizations
That's right.
and joined them in their effort to make some noise, to promote
Make
their
the
their
noise.
their programs. And we realized that it was a super effective tool,
Super.
using the arts to communicate with people and sharing the content
Okay.
via artwork. But it came down to those collaborations, right?
Oh, let's
Collaborating.
talk about that. How?
Yeah,
Come on.
if people ask us, like, we've been fortunate to do a lot of stuff. But when people ask us, like, what do you owe success to, and I bring it down to our collaborations, with all the people that were willing to
Willing.
work with us,
Willing.
share a message, not approach projects with a competitive mentality,
Come on. Speak
and
about
going after resources together, as joint grants,
Yes.
perhaps,
that. Yes.
is really what we are a success to. There's one community, and I won't name it, but it's a city. It's a big city, and
Yeah. Speak about
Yeah,
it. 'Cause we
all
talked
right.
a little bit about that.
yeah. So coming from Central California, first of all, we're in a rural area, so what we're doing is extremely rare, and people were excited to collaborate with us. But in the bigger city, which is Fresno, no diss Fresno, there are some cool peeps that we collaborate with down there. But we would always hear, and we experienced this ourselves, we had a really hard time connecting with other organizations because they would see they would see it as a competitive threat,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
Like, we can't share our resources.
Come
We
on.
can't
Come on.
let our funders need to see us 100% and nobody else. And we're like,
Okay.
no.
No. This is yes.
And we heard that from other people
Yeah.
as well. Other
Yes.
organizations had a really hard time collaborating. And this is super funny. I was invited to speak one time about how to collaborate with other organizations. And I'm like, this is like the easiest thing to talk about.
Right.
Just call up a neighbor and
See if they want to work with
and
you.
say, you want to hang out, like, let's do this, and
Yeah, yes.
it seemed like in that community in Fresno, some of the younger organizations were the ones that were definitely willing to collaborate. But we did see that, and it happens, sometimes it's the state of mind that organization is in, of
Yes.
being
Amen.
so
Speak to that.
competitive and not wanting to expand and share
That's right.
resources,
Support.
support. Yeah,
Everybody needs that.
right.
Yes, I've experienced that as well.
Yeah.
Programs for children, and they want you to work with them, but don't work with the other person.
Yes,
Right.
Yes.
And then
Speak to it.
feelings come into that. When I always believe is that it's okay to help one another, because what I don't know, the other person may know, and we can just bring our resources together. So I just experienced that recently this summer.
Yes.
Mhm.
Speak about
Wanting to
that.
work with young people in one area,
Right.
and then I had an offer to work with kids in another area. And so my goal was that we collaborate.
Right.
Yes,
3 days
yes.
a week I work with you. 2 days a week I work with you. We can learn from
Right.
one another how to build our program on financial literacy.
Right.
So I experienced that as well, and it created some negative feelings.
Right.
Oh, wow.
That'll
I just
happen.
couldn't understand that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't
Why can't we
understand
work
it.
together?
Yeah.
Your
Yes.
hours are different from their hours, but that goes back to what you said. That
Yeah.
competitiveness,
Yes.
Yeah.
trying
Yes.
to feel like your program is better when they both could be great.
Right. Right.
Thank
There's
you.
That's
enough
it. That's
materials
it.
and
They
art,
can
there's
both be
enough
great.
paint, there's enough murals that you can
Yeah.
paint
Right.
that everybody can participate.
Totally.
Yes.
Totally. I love that.
And it's important that we have this conversation because we want to break down some of these barriers.
For sure.
With the equity work that we're doing here in Kitsap County, we really want to build that collective, unified,
Mhm.
collaborative work with one another.
Yes.
Across,
Absolutely.
all of those racial barriers, economic barriers, and all of those things. So how can we begin to cultivate that and nurture that and grow it? So that because we know we have to build it with relationship
Mhm.
and we have to build it with trust. And there are things that we definitely have to be intentional
Mhm.
about doing. But I think when we put that elephant on the table up front and then ask,
Yeah.
let's come together and let's do this work
Yeah.
together. But put it on the table right out the
Mhm.
gate. So when those like-minded people come, they know that this is something that we know has been an issue and we want to address it and break that thing
Yeah.
down so we can work together
Yeah,
in a
for sure.
collective way.
Yeah. And that's something that's come really naturally for me,
Okay.
even before the organization.
Mhm.
Collaborating with other artists on projects,
Mhm.
and that really just transferred over to the community work. So,
Yeah.
but I hear you.
Yeah.
It's definitely tough. And what I have noticed sometimes, I hate to blame, I probably shouldn't, but like some funding sources, not here. This has happened in California, not here. But the organizations might be willing, but really the funding pool is too limited, and that's why that organization is kind of protecting themselves. And they're not necessarily, they might be willing to collaborate, but then they don't because
Because
of
of those
the
factors.
Yeah.
financial barriers. But most of the time it's just because it's a competitive, fearful,
Competitive
egos.
egos. Do you see egos?
Yeah, I mean, it's
We
kind of
got
like
egos.
in the nonprofit world, it seems like, I mean, as an entrepreneur with me, I love kind of embracing the business side of it. And sometimes I see that as you would in a business model, you have your customer base. Your customer base can be the community or the funding source, because you're delivering these objectives, this data for them. But some of those sources that are not willing to collaborate take the negative side of business, where it becomes like a competition. Like, this is my shelf
Yes, that's
space, not
right,
yours.
That's right. That's
But
speaking.
but you know
Speaking.
what? I recall probably about 18, 20 years ago that people would get their personal funding for whatever programs, art, music, dance, etc. But then I remember when they began to say, we need to bridge this.
Yeah.
We need to have
Mm.
people working together in the community.
Mm.
It was
Yeah.
silo at one point.
Right.
I got mine, I'll do my thing. But I remember when it started changing, they were saying that we want collaboration
Yeah.
with funding because they felt like things could be strengthened.
Yeah.
Those programs could be strengthened.
Right.
And so I remember when the change came about.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody didn't embrace the change. Some people did, some people didn't, and that's okay. But like you said, this is something you've always done. It's in you to be able to collaborate with other
Yes,
Right.
organizations. 'Cause
Yeah.
you feel the need, and
Yeah.
you don't have anything to win or prove.
Right.
You know, you're comfortable in your own skin,
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in your own craft of art.
Yes.
And so now I believe that people are trying to bridge one with one another, but we still have those that just, just will never do that.
Yeah.
because
I
that's
don't.
just
I
their
don't understand it.
personality.
That's what it is. Yep. Yeah. That's got to be it. The
Those that
decision
will,
makers.
you do. Those that don't, you just move on and do what you can do.
Yeah.
And continue to ask and strengthen the program
Yeah.
in the community because kids or adults or people are people. And I just know so many people need art. We remember when the schools began
Yes,
to
the
Oh yeah.
stop,
We're
yes,
shutting it
yes.
down.
shut down
Shut
the art.
down
And so
Yeah.
and kids, there's
Need
so
that.
much
Yes.
art inside of children that want to express themselves through that or passion and love it.
Yeah.
And so anytime we can create a program
Yes.
that encourages that, we try to.
Mhm.
Try to-
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, with that being said, I see three brothers that came to visit us. Hey, y'all three brothers, come join us. Come on, I want y'all to come on over and
Whoa,
join
what you got there? What is that?
and come on in here.
What is this? Tell me about this little thing in your hand.
Yep, come on, sit down. Yep, come on, join us. Sit with grandma. All right. Come on, brother. The three brothers done joined us. All right, scoot over. Make room for your brother. Come on over here.
Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome. Look at these three brothers.
What's your name, sir?
Zephin.
Zephyr what?
Zephin High.
Zephin. Welcome.
Zion High.
Zion. Welcome.
Zyler.
Zyler. Hello. Who's that?
Stickman Sonic.
Stickman. Hello,
And
Stickman.
that's art, and somebody created that.
Yes,
And now he gets to enjoy that art.
definitely. We love
His name is Supersonic.
Supersonic.
we love sharing examples like you did of ordinary things that we sometimes take for granted that required some kind of art talent to design. So
Where are the bees?
Well, let me ask the three brothers a question. Yes. Let me ask these three brothers, the Z brothers.
There are these.
These are the Z brothers, everybody. And so, Zephyr, how important is art to you?
I don't know.
how about this? Do you play video games?
Yes.
What's your favorite video game?
Roblox.
Roblox?
Roblox.
So Roblox had to be drawn out. Somebody drew that.
Who?
And if it wasn't for the artwork that created Roblox, you might not be playing Roblox and it might not be your favorite. Have you ever tried drawing one of the characters?
No.
You have?
Yep. I've been trying to draw like maybe in-game Bed Wars stuff because I kind of like Roblox now, so I like to draw Roblox stuff.
And you enjoy playing and drawing Roblox?
Mhm.
So Roblox is something fun and that requires artwork, so art is important.
And you can have like friends in Roblox.
I like Sonic the Hedgehog in Roblox because Roblox has Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog's in there?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
And I rate Sonic the Hedgehog and Supersonic and Scenic and super scenic and lots.
Nice.
Well, let me ask you another question because I see you have your African garbs on. And tell me about the art. I mean, that is art that you all are wearing. Tell me a little bit about it. Y'all know a little bit about that?
Yes, Miss Marva gave this stuff to us that somebody had it a long time ago and gave it to Miss Marva. So Miss Marva let us wear that all for like this day and this right now.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
And they are learning this month of February. I wanted to bring them to the museum so they can witness all the beautiful art that was drawn by a famous artist in this community. And so that was one of our reasons why we came here today. And not only that, but we are going to do a program next Sunday.
Yes.
And so they're learning another type of art, like speeches and creativity in words. And so, and they're learning about their history. This morning we went over, talked about the Underground Railroad and what does that look like and what that's all about. And we talked about, you remember other characters we talked about this morning?
We were talking about slavery. That people on the bus, one of them were on the bus and they said they were gonna sit in the front, but they wouldn't sit in the front, so that the white people called the cops on them, on her or he. So she said next time I'll sit in the front, and she's still dead.
That was Rosa Parks, and her picture is in the art museum, and we're gonna look at her characters. When we're done with this interview, we're gonna go look at all these beautiful pictures at the Bainbridge Museum. I wanted them to be aware of the characters or the people that came before them and paved the way.
Yeah.
We had a discussion about that in Frederick Douglass, and we talked about how they were able to the Underground Railroad, and that was a secret hiding place. And they often used the art of music to communicate their way of escape. And how many? 5,000? About 5,000 slaves were freed because of that underground.
That's powerful.
Yes.
So as Zion learned a speech, do you recall what your speech was this week?
Don't tell people that you're going to the moon. Call them when you get there.
Yes, and who made that quote? Who was that quote? What was his name? Start with a Q.
Quincy Jackson. Jones.
Yes, Quincy Jones said that.
And he's here too.
Yeah, he's in here.
Yes, I believe.
They're excited to see him.
I think so.
Quincy Jones.
Yes.
I think Zayda had one about Muhammad Ali. You remember?
Yep, I read the book
What
about
did
it.
Muhammad Ali? And you read the Muhammad Ali book.
Yes, the whole thing.
Me
I
too.
want to read that. I want to go in the collection.
Do you recall yours speech? What are you gonna say next week?
I'm gonna say
Look at video.
what you're thinking is what you're gonna be becoming by Muhammad Ali.
What you're thinking is what you're becoming.
Oh,
Nice.
what you're thinking is what you're becoming by Muhammad Ali. Oh, that
Love
is
that.
beautiful.
Love that.
Beautiful. Does anyone else got anything?
He's still working on his,
Oh,
but
he's working
remember
on it.
God
Okay.
has
God has
never
ever
left
black people plans
out of his plan.
plans.
Never ever.
Oh.
Powerful.
So he's working on that. And then I think there's one more they're working on about struggle. Remember that one? You remember that one, Zyler?
If I brought the note thing, I cannot read it. But I put it over there.
Without struggle, there is no
there is no
success.
by who is it?
I'm not sure who wrote that one, but we'll look it up.
Well, you wrote the name.
Yeah.
So
So we're just learning about
Yeah.
people that
Nice.
have done great things for them paved the way. I want
Yeah.
them to know they didn't just be able to go to school with children that are different
Right.
because today is 2000 when it,
Right.
but they have to understand that there was somebody before them
Yeah.
that helped them in the arts and the
Yeah.
music in we talked about Frederick Douglass. He was a autobiography. That was his art to write. So he made a big impact on people of African American culture. Made a big impact. They help us to get rid of anti-slavery.
Yeah.
So
That's
we
powerful.
learned
It's
about that
beautiful.
this morning in their studies.
Hmm.
So I encourage
I
them to
like to
study
hear
about
that.
African American people.
Yeah, I like to hear that. I grew up in West Los Angeles. I don't know if you're familiar with the west part of Los Angeles,
Mhm.
but um, I'm of Mexican descent, or I am Mexican.
Right.
But I grew up in mostly Black African American community, and growing up, pretty much. My second family,
Yes.
I grew up seeing. We were talking about this the other day. I grew up with the Josephs. I'm getting emotional because she recently passed, but celebrating Kwanzaa
Yes.
and
We celebrate Kwanzaa.
seeing paintings of Shaka Zulu and learning about that. So I grew up with that. But growing up from kindergarten all the way up to sixth grade, actually even junior high, Black History Month was um, it was part of our curriculum. It was part of our
Okay.
lives, right? So here, like as I got older, when I moved to the Bay Area and working in Central California, there wasn't such a thing, right? There was not such a thing, and
Wasn't such a
especially not in Central California. Like I said, it's very conservative up there. But I missed that. I missed that. I remember we would go on stage and we would learn some of these powerful songs. Um, Everything that you talked about, like it just took me back because I remember me, being uh of a different culture. Like we still learned about each other, and we learned about each other's cultures, and so it was a beautiful thing. I grew up with diversity. um so like I got to share this one of my favorite moments when I was in seventh grade. um During Black History Month, our school would invite like celebrities,
Okay.
and you remember Raj
Yes.
from What's Happening?
Oh yes.
Yes.
He came to our stage. Yeah, he came to our stage. Exactly. The dance he used to do. He came to our school, went on stage, and he said, "Who's gonna come up here and do the
Right.
block and pop?" I was up there. I got to go up there with Raj, and I mean, stuff like that was like just really cool. There's a really special place right around the corner from where I grew up. It's um it's a street. The housing became in like a art community.
Absolutely.
Nice.
um Dang, I just slipped the name just slipped me. It's something village. Now I just forgot. I was about to say it, but uh the directors, everybody uh was African American, so a lot of the lessons and a lot of the workshops, I remember we would do some of the coloring, the painting workshops,
Mhm.
and we would be painting, with these colors. Like primarily that was our
Those
color
are
palette,
the primary
you know,
colors.
because that was part of the community.
That's
So
part of the community.
Elmo's Village, shout out Elmo's Village. How could I
Elmo
forget that?
Village.
Elmo's Village in
Oh,
West LA.
man.
Yeah, on
Elmo's
Saturn
Village.
Street in Rimpau. Shout out.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, how cool.
but yeah, so that I just thought that was really cool.
Seeing that.
I miss hearing about that, and I every year whenever Black History Month came about, living in Central Valley, I thought, man, it would take me back to those days when I was young and we were a part of that celebration.
But
Yes.
see, that's what I'm saying. When we become part of one another's celebration, how important is that we become part of one another? That one love we were talking about,
Mhm.
becoming part of one's,
Yeah.
celebrating and elevating every culture, everyone's,
Right, right.
in a way that we come in and we're not intimidated by anyone's
Right. No,
culture,
no,
but
yeah,
we're here to celebrate
Right.
right alongside of you.
yeah, we find commonality, we appreciate each other's cultures. So
Yeah.
I've always, growing up in LA, like a around a diverse community, like I felt more comfortable.
Yeah.
So
felt
being
comfortable.
being in amongst diversity, I felt more comfortable. And when I moved up north, there was less diversity. It didn't feel right.
It didn't feel inviting, welcoming,
Yeah, that was
comfortable.
part of it. Yep, yep.
Sounds like it's right.
So
Well, tell us a little bit about what you got up and coming, because we want to make sure that we're supporting and we know what's happening on the front when it comes down to us moving forward to work.
yeah, for sure. So, well, right now, just last night we had a fundraising exhibit, art on skateboards. So we kind of honored, our love for skateboarding, and also used the skateboards as canvases. So that is on display at Vibe Coworks in Paulsbo. Corey, whose artwork you see everywhere here, is also in the exhibit. He submitted 3 pieces. Um, the artists come from all over Kitsap County,
Wonderful.
some in Tacoma,
Okay.
and 2 from California, and 1 got mailed all the way from North Carolina. So
Wonderful.
And this is downtown Postville?
yeah, you know where the crab tree is?
Yes.
Yes.
So right next door to that is Vibe Coworks, and so they have a small little gallery space that
Okay.
they've been exhibiting work. And
We will be visiting that today.
yeah. So
Wonderful.
it's a membership only venue, because you have to do the work membership, but you can always contact them. I can help you arrange a
Okay,
little
yeah.
I
tour.
would love to take
Yes.
family
And then
to
they
you.
also have a free First Friday, so it's open
Okay.
to everybody on First
Okay.
Friday.
First
But
Friday.
we're thinking about promoting like open doors for the gallery on those First Fridays.
Wonderful.
But yeah,
That's
so that's something that
amazing.
just happened. It's going to be on display for the next couple months. And then we're trying really hard to put together this citywide mural festival in Bremerton.
Yes.
It's probably
Yes.
going to take form in a smaller effort versus 10-15 murals. We're probably going to start out with
Okay.
just a couple and raise awareness. Another
Listen
thing
for
that
them.
we're really working hard on is to develop DSGN Kitsap. DSGN is not an acronym, but it's a cool way to say design. I think it's cool.
Okay.
Design DSGN introduces young people to creative careers with hands-on experience.
Thank you for that. Yes.
So, from the beginning process of thinking up the idea to designing it, and then
Oh.
executing the production, and that takes many different forms. We have toy designs, which is kind of like cartoon /
Wonderful.
sculptures, and definitely some graphic design stuff, and
Okay.
even fashion. So we go into a lot of like
Yes.
streetwear fashion,
Oh, good,
skateboarding inspired fashion.
Yes.
That's been really successful in California, and we're trying to bring that to Kitsap. It's called
Well,
DSGN
let's do-
Kitsap.
Well,
We'll
we
see.
want to be a part of
Thank
that
you.
collective.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we, the Living Arts Cultural Heritage Project, we always we elevate the arts,
Mhm.
history,
Yes.
heritage, culture,
Yes.
and so
Karen, that's
this
a
is
great
a
idea.
wonderful way
We
to
are down.
do the collective
Yes.
with our community.
Was Zion participated in a art uh, art form class this summer,
Mhm.
and he came up with an invention, an art invention that
Oh, wow.
that he can. The goal is for us is to patent it, You want to share that idea?
Wait. We gotta say all rights reserved first, because you're
All
trying
right,
to
so
get a
that
patent.
he's not gonna. Well, yeah, we may not need to share.
You might not. You might not want to share it if you're working on a. Maybe you could
Just tell them what you just
Maybe-
came up with an idea on how
All
to
rights
play a
reserved.
game. Oh,
Say
yeah.
all rights reserved.
All rights reserved.
I just made a game named you built it. It's a game that where you could play one player like maybe like two players because it's two player, and it's also one player if you like to play all by yourself. So how you play the game is you have to build something and you have to take a picture and then you break it down, and then when you you have to put your phone on the picture, and then whoever builds it the fastest wins.
Well, so we're not gonna take the
Yeah,
materials we use.
we're not gonna
but
break all the
it's
secrets
another
down.
Form of, it's another form of art.
Hmm.
So you have to
Yeah,
create it.
that sounds cool.
And
So
I
did
made
you want to
also-
share
wait,
something?
And I also made like birdhouses. I made birdhouses that somebody let me borrow to let somebody let me
materials.
to get me
Nice.
the materials.
So that was
That's fun.
our
And I
way.
made it like in different colors.
Yeah, so
Nice.
as Karen said, I believe
Happy
in art.
bird
Karen and I,
houses.
we love to do art with kids, so that was a way to express himself
Mhm.
this summer, is to be creative and do some creative art, and he came up with those ideas, as well as his brother
Nice.
had an idea. But yesterday, Zephyr, you want to show them your art piece on your head? Turn
I
around.
see that. I wanted to
We went
ask him.
Tacoma to this
Yeah,
shop
turn around. Let us
supporting
see.
men of African American. Turn around, sit down, sit down, turn
Turn
around.
around and sit down.
So,
Ooh.
so he
Nice.
wanted art in his hair.
Uh-huh.
So we thought
We
that
had
was
a-
really cool.
We had an art show many years back called Hand Styles.
Sit right here.
Um,
Yeah, that's good.
and
Yeah,
because
that
hand
is-
styles
yeah,
is commonly known with like calligraphy and
Mm.
tags and script, and we had a barber shop that participated, and the gallery was in the barber shop. Show us real quick. And so they
Wow.
they did a bunch of live pieces like this as part of
Oh.
the hand styles. It was really cool. They even add color.
Wonderful. So this is what we
Can
call
you see that?
with
See that over there?
oh,
There you go.
there's
There
Corey
you go.
Bennett's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wanted him to get
So
the.
this art here is what we would call living arts
Living
Mhm.
art.
because it is live.
It's like
It's on their
Right.
bodies. They create it, and it's we would call tattooing living
Mhm.
arts.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it
he
they
just wanted
talk-
something
take life forms.
different. And,
Yeah.
and the gentleman created this art piece in his head.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
nice.
And
Yes.
people
Really
stop
cool.
and look at it and like,
Yeah, that's really cool.
Nice.
yes.
The art workshops that you were talking about that you mentioned were those in
Oh.
person or virtual?
Those were in person.
Oh, okay.
We created well, I didn't, but my sister created an art event this summer for
Oh,
children
okay.
to do art. And then what they did, once they created art, it was art in all forms. They did canvas, drawings, they did beading.
Oh, dang.
Zion did game building. My granddaughter came up with her own art idea
Hmm.
and sold it. Then they created on a Saturday at the Marvel Williams Center. They had all the children there,
Hmm.
and they made T-shirts. They
Yeah.
created
Oh,
T-shirts. They
nice.
did cups. So many art in different art form ways.
Oh, man.
And then the kids sold them to the
Yeah.
community. And Zion made quite a bit of money. And Zephyr
Congratulations.
Zephyr made bookmarks
Entrepreneur.
Nice.
and pens, African American pens. I wish I would have brought
Nice.
you guys some today.
That would have been
Yes.
cool.
He created pens and bookmarks.
Yes.
And they sold them and made at least $100 or $200.
What?
Yes.
I gotta jump on that.
Yeah, I know. Excellent.
So they were very, very creative in their art.
So you
form.
are artists.
Yes, they are.
And you
Yes,
are
it's in
selling
the
artwork.
making.
Zyla loves
See?
to draw. He drew a picture.
Before we wrap it up today, one of the things that I'd like to say, Marva, do you have anything that you would like to leave with those that have visited with us today?
Those are the visit.
Yep. Anything you would like to?
I just want to say these are my grandsons, and what my goal is to impart wisdom and knowledge and Black culture for my grandson. So, like we read a book today. Zion actually was the lead and read a book about being the best of you to his brother and his cousin. So they read that this morning. We was having breakfast together. We sit down at the table and we have breakfast together, and then I share with them some of the games that I played as a child. So we did that this morning at the breakfast table.
Oh, very cool.
Nice. How cool is that?
Definitely sit down.
So before we wrap it up today, we just want to thank Eric Gonzalez
Thank
again
you.
for
Thank you.
all
Thank
of the
you.
wonderful art that he's creating here in Kitsap County. Miss Marva Jones, for always being that educator with the mostest, and for our young brothers that have come to visit
Sit
us.
up, Zephon.
We just want to say thank you to the Z Brothers.
Z Brothers,
And
three
thank you for
Z's.
visiting us today. And we always want to thank the Conduit, and we always want to thank Bainbridge Island Museum
Shout
of
out the
Art
Conduit.
for hosting us and being able to celebrate Black History Month with Black Lives 365. And so thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks everybody. Honored to be here.
We learned so much today, and we're going
Yes.
to take a tour of the museum.
All
And
right,
I
everyone.
hoped-
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I hope to connect with was it your daughter that created all the art projects? We gotta talk.
Yes, my sister has an art group
Okay.
called Love Me for Me. And
Oh, okay.
She brings kids together.
Yeah.
And she's a very great artist. She does coloring books and she creates her own jewelry. So
We'll
what she
we'll
did
connect
was
on that for
brought
sure.
this group together
Mhm.
this summer, and so they can do creative art.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
And so let's stay in touch.
For sure. We definitely will.
All right, making connections. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So, again, this is our Black History series at the Bainbridge Island Museum of Arts. So, we're very thankful for them and Akuyea. Again, we will be back here for the last Friday at 1 p.m. So, don't miss us. All right. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next time.